literally just left my chiropractor, and I just had a moment like when I just realized I know this, but sometimes just when you hear it or when you say it, right, it just adds that extra confirmation. And I came to the chiropractor because, you know, I knew I'd flown a lot going to Paris, coming back, and my right nerve in my leg or something was kind of hurting. So I know I had like a little pinched nerve from all that flying, I'm sure. So I had to tell them, yeah, I've been traveling. I went to Paris. I'm back. And as I was checking out, she was like, do you want to, schedule something else for next week? And I was like, no, I can't. I won't be in town. I'm going to New York Monday morning from New York to LA. So I won't be in town any next week. Maybe the next week. And I was like, I'm blessed. I'm so blessed doing.
Welcome back. Let's rewind to the moment when Martell Holt's whole image started falling apart. Not the cheating scandal, not the messy divorce, not even the endless public shaming. This was bigger. This was when his own kids, the ones who knew him behind closed doors, started speaking in ways that couldn't be spun or staged. That's when the mask of perfect dad finally started cracking. For years, Martell built his public persona like a salesman. Part charm, part chaos, carefully packaged to look like a man fighting an unfair system just to be with his children. He pushed the story that he was the victim.
No one here.
Wherever my kids are, I'm popping up.
Don't pop up. This is my time with the kids.
No, I'm just
like
saying,
our
whatever.
time.
Listen, okay, we ain't got to fuss in front of me.
Yeah, I don't want to fuss. I said our time.
Hey, kids, are you guys going for a moment?
The dad who only wanted to protect his kids from the cold world. But behind the smiles and Instagram posts, insiders whispered another truth. It wasn't protection, it was control. The court told him plainly what needed to be done. Therapy, evaluations, structure, basic steps any parent who wants to prove they're stable would take. But Martell didn't do them. Not for months, not for a year, but for more than 2 years straight. That's not forgetfulness. That's straight up defiance. It was a choice, a prideful one, and people started noticing. Fans, insiders, even critics began to compare. How was Martell treating the child he had with Ariane Curry versus the kids he shared with Melody Sherry? That's when the cracks turned into full-blown fractures. Martell flooded social media with happy photos of him and Ariane's child, grinning wide like the world's most devoted father.
Mission to be pretty much, it's best for the kids.
I have the kids for 2 weeks, well, usually 3, because when your 2 weeks up, for you to get them, you don't want them yet. So I have them for 3 weeks, you have them for 2. I think that works.
But when it came to Melody's kids, suddenly it was all excuses, all privacy talk, like he had something to hide. People caught on quick. This wasn't about safety, this was about power and about controlling the narrative. And while Martell was playing puppet master with public perception, Melody was grinding in silence. She was following the rules, showing up to court, doing exactly what was required of her. She was the steady parent, the one proving through action, not excuses, that she was fighting for her kids. But that never stopped Martell from tearing Melody down every chance he got. Shady interviews, cryptic social posts, slick little digs hidden between Bible verses. 1 minute he's preaching faith, the next he's throwing blame like it's confetti. He wanted the world to see him as the father who never gave up. But how can you scream you're fighting for your kids when you won't even follow the law? This is where it cuts deeper. Martell wasn't just lashing out, he was clinging to power. His kids were growing up, and kids aren't blind. They know who's really there when the cameras are off. They remember who picks them up from school, who tucks them in, who shows up when it matters. Over time, the loyalty he thought was automatic started to shift, and that scared him. Little by little, those kids started letting things slip. Quiet comments, subtle truths. Not staged for the public, but whispered to people close to the family. Words that revealed hurt, confusion, even anger. Those whispers alone were enough to start cracking the glossy image Martell worked so hard to sell. And then came the bombshell. Domestic violence. Not rumors, not gossip, but a cold legal fact stamped with a guilty plea. Martell tried to fight it, thinking he could stall or flip the outcome, but when the appeal hit in August 2025, it backfired hard. He didn't walk away redeemed, he walked away with a second guilty plea that shredded whatever was left of his reputation. No Instagram post, no sermon, no PR spin could clean that up. The message was loud and clear: you can't dodge the truth forever. Now, with a custody trial locked in for October, the clock is ticking. This isn't just about who gets the kids. It's about a man who thought charm could replace responsibility, who thought image was stronger than action. But here's the twist. The truth always wins, and Martell Holt is learning that the hard way. Martell Holt is finding out the hard way what happens when your actions scream louder than your words. The court didn't need a long debate. The record already speaks volumes. 2 guilty pleas for harassment, years of ignored court orders, and a mountain of dragged-out appeals. Judges aren't fooled by speeches or charm. They look at patterns, they watch behavior, and Martell's behavior painted a crystal-clear picture. This wasn't the story of a father fighting to rebuild. No, this was a man obsessed with control, waving legal papers like weapons just to keep Melody tied to him. Every filing, every delay wasn't about family. It was about power. And the cost? It's not just emotional, it's financial chaos. The bills are stacking high. Child support, fines, endless lawyer fees. Every failed appeal bleeds him dry. The man who once bragged about being a businessman, a real estate mogul, a reality TV star, now looks like he's standing on a sandcastle crumbling with every wave of backlash. His business ventures have stalled, his TV shine has dimmed, and when he does pop up online with motivational quotes or business talk, the vibe feels forced, fake even. And fans, they're not buying it anymore. The comments have shifted. What used to be support has flipped into side eyes and sharp questions. People are asking why a man who claims to love family spends more time in courtrooms than with his own children. That glossy father image is gone, and all that's left is a man caught in his own mess. Meanwhile, Melody's moving completely different. While Martell clings to chaos, she's been building something real. She's grinding on her brand, her music, and her businesses, all while raising 4 kids and holding it together in the middle of nonstop legal drama. She's not just surviving, she's thriving. She's on TV, she's dropping music, she's stacking wins outside of the courtroom. And that's why fans are rallying behind her, because she's showing it's not about being flawless, it's about being strong. She chose stability over drama, peace over control, and that strength has turned her into an inspiration. While Martell's empire crumbles, Melody is showing what it looks like to rise. Martell can't fake his way through this anymore. And what really stings is how the rest of the cast is treating him. Marcel Scott, who never misses a chance to clash with someone, has flat out said Martell's mess isn't just dramatic. It's exhausting and boring. Maurice and Kimmy, who once played it safe and stayed neutral, aren't even pretending anymore. Their silence has turned into side eyes, and their patience has run dry. And Wanda, the queen of unfiltered shade, she's been firing off comments that cut way too close to home for Martell. It's not just Melody pushing back now. The whole circle is shrinking in on him. And here's the unspoken question everyone's whispering but no one wants to say out loud. What if Martell's chaos isn't just pride or control? What if it's something deeper, something inside him he refuses to face? Think about it. The lashing out, the endless need to be the victim, the refusal to let go. Some fans believe Martell isn't just battling Melody or the courts, he's battling himself, his anger, his manipulation, his obsession with keeping the spotlight. It's starting to look less like strategy and more like fear. Fear of losing relevance, fear of being alone, fear of the day when all the consequences finally land. You can see that fear dripping out in his live streams, in the strange captions he posts, in the way he tries to drag Melody or Marcel back into fights over ghosts of the past. That's not power, that's desperation, and the audience knows it. Now the stage is set for October 15th, the custody trial that could define everything. This isn't just another day in court. This is Judgment Day for Martell Holt. His track record is brutal. Messy public meltdowns, a domestic violence conviction, ignored court orders, and a history of resistance and deflection. Judges don't fall for charm. They look at patterns, and Martell's pattern is clear as day. Meanwhile, Melody's lawyers are stacked and ready. They've already got court wins on their side, and now that guilty plea sits like the final nail in Martell's case. On paper and in real life, Melody stands out as the consistent parent, the one who shows stability, not chaos. And when those papers hit the bench, Martell won't be able to hide behind words anymore. Melody's path has been the complete opposite. No arrests, no public breakdowns, no wild accusations, just steady work, raising her kids, and climbing higher year after year. That's exactly what judges look for in custody cases, stability. And it's the one thing Martell has never been able to show. If he loses this trial, the fallout could be brutal. We're talking limited visitation, maybe even supervised visits where a court monitor sits in the room while he sees his own children. For a man like Martell, that humiliation would stick forever, haunting every photo op, every interview, every time he tried to play family man for the cameras. And the worst part, he wouldn't be in control anymore. No control over the story, no control over the schedule, and no control over melody. That kind of loss would crush his pride more than anything else. Yet Martell still pretends everything is fine in public. He posts gym selfies, drops vague captions about getting better, and makes half-hearted peace offerings. But anyone paying attention can see through it. Behind the poses is a man who's been falling apart for years. The proof? People who once stood up for him have started walking away. Business partners, co-stars, even loyal fans who used to defend him, all fading into silence. Because in the end, drama always turns into damage, and Martell has never figured out how to stop the spiral. And here's the tragedy. It didn't have to be this way. If he had simply followed the court's orders, if he had humbled himself enough to apologize, show real growth, maybe even prove he was willing to change, things could have been different. Shared custody might have been possible. A little respect could have been salvaged. But Martell never chose healing. He chose power, and now he's paying the price. The saddest part of all this, the kids. For years, they've been caught in the crossfire, stuck watching their parents clash while their father turned them into pawns on a board instead of just loving them. That kind of emotional storm doesn't fade overnight. It leaves scars. Melody knows it, which is why she's fighting not only for custody, but for their future, trying to shield them from the chaos they didn't ask for. Meanwhile, Martell's biggest battle is with himself. Even if the court strips away his visitation rights, even if the public finally tunes him out, he'll still be left with the man staring back at him in the mirror. And that might be the harshest punishment of all. Lying awake at night, realizing the truth. His pride cost him everything, including his family. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share to stay in the loop with all the latest tea. Hit that notification bell so you never miss an update, and I'll catch you in the next video.